Hello guys, in this video we are going to study about semen sample test, a topic from FMT. This topic tells us that if we get a sample from a clothing or a skin of a female rape victim, if it is really semen or not. Sometimes female may finch that they have been raped and put on rice starch on their body or the cloth that this is a proof of rape. But we have to know that it is really semen or something else. So first of all, we can use physical examination, then chemical examination, and lastly enzymatic test for semen sample testing. So first coming to semen sample test, physical examination. In physical examination, they are generally dried samples. The semen are generally dried samples, especially if they are present on a cloth. The color is grayish or whitish, right? The color is grayish and whitish. They look starchy and the borders are irregular. Of course, they can never be regular. The borders are regular and the odor is mousy odor. If you smell it, the odor will be mousy odor. Under UV light, you will see fluorescence, right? You will see fluorescence. A bluish white fluorescence will be seen. Bluish white fluorescence will be seen. And what is the reason? What is the chemical compound that gives fluorescence? It is due to choline. Choline is present in semen sample. That's why fluorescence is there, right? So this is important. Now coming to the next thing, chemical examination. In chemical examination, there are two very important tests. First one is Florence test and second is Barberio's test. Let me tell you, in your examination, you will never be asked about physical examination. That was only a stud I included this in video just for sense of completion. You will never be asked acid phosphatase, enzymatic reaction, creatinine kinase. These things also will never be asked, right? Only this thing is fluorescence test and Barberio's test is important. Now in fluorescence test, first of all, you have to know that what is the color that will be imparted, right? The color that will be imparted in fluorescence test will be brown, right? Fluorescence test gives brown rhombic crystals, right? Brown rhombic crystals. Next thing, what is the compound that actually is important for fluorescence test? It is due to choline. It is due to choline that the fluorescence test is possible, right? Choline in the semen sample actually gives brown rhombic crystal, forms brown rhombic crystals in fluorescence test. So you have to remember it. Now coming to Barberio's test, right? You can see S over here, Barberio's. S stands for spermine picrate. Just like in fluorescence test, choline was actually the compound which was forming brown rhombic crystals. In Barberio's test, spermine picrate is the compound that is actually giving the Barberio's test. And how will we know that this is a positive test? Barberio's is yellow. Barberio gives yellow needle shaped crystals. Like Barberio gives yellow needle shaped crystals. Very important. Yellow needle shaped crystals is given in Barberio's test. Yellow, right? So this is important. So first of all, you have to remember that what was present in fluorescence and what was present in Barberio's test. So it is very extremely important, otherwise you will confuse these things, right? It is very easy technique that I use, right? In fluorescence test, see, fluorescence test is fluorine, right? Then brown, fluorine, then brown, bromine, and then choline. Sounds like chlorine. So these things are what? Fluorine, bromine and chlorine. These are halogen compounds. So this particular test actually sounds completely like halogen. Fluorescence test, fluorine. Brown rhombic crystal, bromine. Choline is like chlorine. So these things are together. You have to remember it. So fluorescence test, brown and choline. Now coming to Barberio's test. In Barberio's test, S stands for spermine picrate. You can remember Barberio's by S, spermine picrate, right? And then how will you remember that it forms yellow crystals? Barberio's and then yellows, right? You have to remember it like this. Barberio's, yellows, right? These actually are very important techniques so that you can remember, because in examination you will repent if you don't use these techniques or some technique to remember this. And it is extremely important because in examination you will forget these things, you will mix up these things until you make a trick to remember these things, right? So Barberio's is yellows and S stands for spermine picrate. Now coming to the next part, acid phosphatase test or brentamine test, right? This is actually not important. Now enzymatic test, there are two: acid phosphatase test and creatinine phosphokinase test. In acid phosphatase test, if it is more than 100, then it is positive, and in creatinine kinase, if it is more than 660, then it is positive. You will never be asked these things. The only important thing is present over here. Chemical examination: fluorescence, brown, choline, and Barberio's test, spermine picrate and yellow. That's it. Thank you.